Imagine this with me. Your future self comes back in time by 10 years and tells you, put all of your money in GameStop stock. You're going to make so much money. Would you do it? Now, initially that sounds crazy. You're going to say, that's so stupid. That stock died out of however many years ago. And so you choose not to do it. But as time plays out, you find out that GameStop has a huge acquisition. It's not huge at the time, but they acquire some company that has some small groundbreaking idea, and that takes off for the whole company's culture and leads them into almost a new golden age of wealth and revenue. You would have never seen it, but down the line, maybe 2, 3, 4 years later, it would have all happened. And the reason why he told you to start today is so that you can start saving, acquiring, and setting up your position in this groundbreaking company. Now, I'm not telling you to buy GameStop stock, but what I'm pointing out is how ridiculous something could sound until it starts to play out and you realize, oh man, I was wrong the whole time. And that's something that as a society, we don't really learn to take risks. We don't learn to accept that we could be wrong. And especially online, you're almost incentivized to like live and die on incorrect truths. You know, you have people who clash over which religion is correct, and no matter what evidence or what philosophies or what knowledge are presented to them, they're still going to die hard on that. And you could even devolve it further to say some people live and die by different sports teams, and they will do crazy things like maybe kill or attack or stab from their sports team losing and someone cheering for the other team. So this is what I want to tie this towards, is going to be investments. Now, the idea is a lot of these investments, you know, we always want to have the most smart, most intelligent, most well-planned, and let's have a sheet and, you know, document and find out. But a lot of times the best investment would have been what you truly felt strongly for within your heart, or some of the silly stuff. Let's look back in history at some of the silly investments that you would have made a lot of money on. One of them is going to be Pokemon. Imagine 10 years ago, your future self told you, dude, buy Pokemon booster boxes. Just put all your money in Pokemon booster boxes and don't sell them for 5 or 10 years. Just sit on them. You could be like, dude, what are you talking about? I'm not doing that. That's ridiculous. But as we know, if you would have done that, you would have made a lot of money. You'd be financially free. You wouldn't have to work anymore, because any job, your paychecks would have been tripling. Sorry, it would have been going in multiples of 10, 20, and more percent. Sorry, multiples. And you can apply this also to Bitcoin. Imagine your future self went back in time 10 years and said, dude, put all of your money in Bitcoin. Everything, every dot, save in Bitcoin. You would have been like, no, that's crazy. I'm not doing that. That's a Ponzi scheme. That's a scam coin. There's all these scams or whatever, you know, whatever opinion you might have had at the time about Bitcoin. But as we know, any amount that you had in Bitcoin could have made you a multimillionaire. Any small amount. And as time has gone on, sure, the amounts have gotten bigger. You needed to get a full coin, but any amount would have that's pretty much the best job, would be getting any job and putting all your money in Bitcoin. The amount of money you would have made is just staggering. But if you go back 10 years, of course you thought it was a stupid investment, or maybe you didn't. Maybe you were one of the small few, but most people, you would have been like, no. And then maybe if you did buy it, you might have sold it early. You might have made a little quick return and sold it. So You could also apply this to Magic the Gathering collector boxes. What if a little birdie came 10 years in the future to today and said, dude, put all of your money in Magic the Gathering collector boxes? You would have been, you might be thinking, well, they're already so high. I mean, what the bear market might be around the corner, they're already too expensive. I'm not doing that. That's ridiculous. Or, man, they're already like $2,000. That's so much money to really put aside and save. And like, no, any booster box, even Aether Drift is going to go 10x. No, that's too silly. That set is trash. That set is, it's dog. No one likes Aether Drift. But as you know, even from some of these older sets for Magic the Gathering, there has been those type of moments where in the future, you take a card like Ristic Study, that was a common. In the future, who knows? It could have some of the cards that are used in some of the most popular formats that you could have never expected to even come out. Aether Drift could have some of those. And who knows, some decks could come out in the future that are very artifact or vehicle heavy, and it could take off, people could like it. And what do you know, Aether Drift is actually just almost like a pure vehicle set. It's kind of, I don't know why they did that, but I can't predict the future on Aether Drift. I can't predict the future on Magic the Gathering collector boxes. I can't predict the future on Bitcoin or Pokemon or any investment. You can't even predict the future on some of these companies that people had done charts and all these sheets and studies and algorithms and Fibonacci's and, oh, this is going to be the investment. Yeah, get into this. We can't even really predict those. And so if you step back and you kind of look at the start of what I'm talking about with this video and you apply it to any of the investment ideas that you may have had, or any little blip of an idea of something that could sound sound so stupid and silly, and you had faith in it, you had conviction, you had some angle, maybe you didn't even know how well it would do. You just wanted to take part in one of these communities because you liked whatever that investment was. And, you go back to your real life today and you might not be doing it. You might be thinking any of these negative things that I've applied to any of these other companies or investments or stocks or items. And you might be thinking anything about people who invest in Pokemon. You might be thinking they're scalpers, scumbag, lowball, scum of the earth. How dare you buy up and take from the, you're the reason why the prices are so high. And, maybe it's GameStop, you apply that. Oh, you're just stupid. You're just a mindless, brainless dummy. Don't you know GameStop is dumb? Here's the reason why GameStop is a horrible stock. Or maybe it's Magic the Gathering and you go, no, don't invest in Aether Drift because here's all these reasons why that set that you're going to invest in sucks. And here's all these reasons why that investment might not be good. Yes, you can find negative cases on any investment. Let's take gold. There is something called the von Neumann probe. It's a science, it's a sci-fi, speculatory innovation where you can have an AI drone that goes into space. It knows how to gather the materials needed to recreate itself. It knows how to create the facilities needed to recreate itself, like a factory almost. And it could mass produce tons and tons of drones. If there's a drone like that, it would go infinite. It would go insane. And my whole point of this is, it doesn't matter what you think could go wrong with an investment. What matters is you had the conviction to try to invest. You had enough reason to think it could work, to think that despite all the naysayers, it could work. And not only did you go in, but you went in substantially enough to where that investment could reshape your future. Here's the good side of all those things. GameStop could recover. I'm not investing in GameStop, just disclaimer, 0% in GameStop. Don't have one stock. I invested when it had that little meme period, but I'm just making an example. It could recover. It could 10x from here in a couple years. Bitcoin has been on a freaking tear, and I know it's 100,000 per coin right now. But you could take $1,000, put it in Bitcoin, and that 100,000 per coin could look cheap in the future. And that thing could go to $1 million. And your $1,000 could, what is that, 10x? And it would be $10,000. What job do you have? How much money are you making? You could be making $16 per hour and put every single penny of that into Bitcoin. And maybe in 2 years, it does 10x. And now it looks like you made $160 per hour because you, with your money, it doesn't matter how much, invested. You had the balls to invest hardcore against anything that someone would say or advise you with, or even your gut. Sometimes your gut's telling you maybe this is not a good idea. You had the balls to go in and all in on this thing. It could be Pokemon boxes. $100 per Pokemon boxes were super affordable 10 years ago. Even a couple years ago, they were $100. 2 years ago, $100 boxes of Pokemon. And you had the balls to all in. Maybe you only just liked Pokemon. And you said, in the future, this set will never be reprinted. I want to get in today. And think about that. Apply that to anything in your life right now. Maybe there's a set of Pokemon that you like right now. 151 bundles. There's a time that there's never going to be another 151 bundle reprinted in this world. And you could spend right now stacking, even though it's $100 per bundle right now. Yes, I don't know if you've seen 151 bundles are $100. Up from 60, up from MSRP of 30. And I know people have been screaming for MSRP for 151 bundles since they've spiked. But guess what? They could, at one point, never be reprinted. And the price could never retrace below $70, $60, maybe $100. And that thing, in a couple years, could be $1,000 per bundle. Even with the Pokemon investment, there is a case where your $16 per hour job, $8 per hour job, $20 per hour job could 10x. And it could be looking like you were making over 6 figures the whole time. All because you had conviction. So this isn't to tell you to buy anything specifically. Nothing specifically. This is more of a alert to look within yourself and really think, what is it that I like today that I have an angle on, that I have some reason to believe that this item, this thing, will go up in the future? And not just go up, but go up a lot. What is it that you've been waiting on? What is it that you could even foresee? And whatever that thing is, that thing could make you insanely rich. And there could be any reason against going into it. Anything. Your brain could be telling you one thing. Your gut could be telling you another. Online could tell you another. And you could avoid getting into some of these investments. What I'm telling you is that may be the biggest mistake of your life. And you may not even know it. You may not even know how much opportunity you're sacrificing for yourself. How your life could look if you decided to learn and be brave and take a risk. To look a little stupid. Maybe you're down a little bit on your investment. But pick an investment that lasts a lifetime, and I can almost guarantee it'll do you wonders. As long as you believe in it. Stay the course. See you guys later. Hope this helped. Peace.